Good evening and welcome to the Formula Racing League. Round 4 takes us to Baku in Azerbaijan for this 100% racing series within the FRL. Qualifying was done yesterday. Tonight is the race, so just a quick rundown on what happened in quali. So in Q1, Big Balls topped the session, and likewise in Q2. And in Q1, Leppy lost it in the fast corners before the straight. Same with Sniper's Grace, and Big Balls Bells took pole at the end of it. I think it meant Q3 by that. But either way, Big Balls Bells continuing to dominate the championship at the moment. He's on 97 points. And remember, it's 40 points for a race victory. We've done 3 rounds already, so you know the maths. Vamu is in second with 59, and he's Quick Killer in third with 48. And in terms of who is lined up where on the grid, so Big Balls Bells and Ginge line up on the front row next to each other, both of which will be starting on the mediums. Wild Spin and Ilots Baguette start on row 2. That's Paige, who's started on the mediums in 4th position. Then it's Seeker Zubo and Quick Killer on row 3. Then it's Eckhart and Gainful Odds on the 4th row. Terades and Scracer rounding out the top 10. Then it's Leppy and Fragile making up the 6th row ahead of Mielios and Mima Moody on row 7. Then it's Jackson and Vamu on row 8. Jay Hartnell and Tricker on row 9. And Softar and Wun Gaming on the back row of the grid. I'm not sure if Jackson is actually around, to be quite honest with you, so we just look to see who is in place with it. I believe it's Liverpool fan who's filled in the shoes. But we'll wait and see when the formation lap does get underway. We are expecting overcast conditions here. We're not expecting any rain. I don't think we are anyway. But we'll see how the race goes as it does. If you have joined us on the stream, we do welcome you. Do make sure you leave a like and do subscribe to the channel. I do apologise for not being on air last week as I was currently unwell. I'm nearly better now, very nearly better. Just a little bit of a cough at the moment, but nothing too serious. I'm still well enough to be commentating this evening. So yes, Liverpool fan is in place of Jackson, who is not around for the race. So Liverpool fan will take his place on the grid. So 20 cars line up. Let's have a look to see who is starting on what compound. Now the only drivers not starting on the mediums are Wild Dog, Zika Zuvo and Vamu. All the others are starting on the mediums. It's a 51 lap race. I would expect a mixture of 1 and 2 stop strategies here. But of course, with it being a street circuit, Baku is prone to having safety cars in this game anyway. Now Big Balls Bells, who he didn't win last week. He only could manage 6th. It was Dixon who won in the Haas, but isn't around tonight. He is a reserve driver, I believe, in the Haas. No, he's not. He's a full-time driver, but just wasn't able to be around for tonight. So round 1 went to Big Balls Bells. I say round 1 went to Big Balls Bells. I think he's won the first 2. Because he won one in Bahrain as well. And then Dixon won round 3. So that put an end to Big Balls Bells' run of victories. Ginge will be hoping to get in there as well. He finished 14th last time out, which was good enough to get him a couple of points, but he'll be hoping for a lot more than that here tonight. Next, 40 points for a race victory, 32 for second, 26 for third, 20 for fourth, right the way down to 15th place. Get 1 point, but they must finish, of course, to get those points. There's also a point for pole and a point for fastest lap, providing that driver finishes inside the top 10, of course. In terms of the calendar, we've already gone past Bahrain, Brazil and Austria. Today is Azerbaijan. Next week we'll be going to Silverstone, and then it's Spa, then Australia, and then Spain. And then on the 9th and 16th of October, should they be added into the game cycle, we should be going to 2 of the 3 DLC tracks, which will be either Imola, Portimao or Jeddah. But no news as of yet as to when Codemasters will be releasing those circuits. So all 20 cars are back on the grid now. We await for those 5 red lights to appear. Big Boss Bells on the left, Ginge on the right, with their teammates behind them on the second row. So the 5 red lights come on, look but never steer. It's lights out, and away we go. Jin's got the better start than Big Boss Bells, but Big Boss Bells has enough momentum to into turn 1 to retain his lead. So he leads ahead of Ginge and Wild Dog, and it's the Red Bull of Zika Zubo gets ahead of Page. One of the AlphaTauris has gone off. I think that's Gainful Odds, who's gone off onto the pit exit, but everyone's through safely so far. There's a little bit of wheel banging, a little bit of crunching going on behind, but nothing too serious. Gainful Odds pointing the wrong way at the moment, but Big Boss Bells on a full tank of fuel is still leading. And there's Ginge in second place, and one of the mechanics has gone round. It's Paige who's lost control at turn 3. So she's gone round the wrong way, and you can see Leppy being overtaken by the Williams at Terrain. So Leppy going backwards at the moment. But he's going side by side as they enter through turn 5 and 6. And Leppy has to concede defeat there. Bomo's in 9th place, has a Sniper's Grace. And Therese is the only driver to be penalised so far for causing the collision. And someone's gone round. I think it's the Mercedes of Mean Man Moody who's gone for a spin. There we go, look. And the Rebel of Will has gone round. Quick Killer has also gone off onto the runoff area. Not sure what's happened between those guys. And there's the Mercedes there of Mean Man Moody without a front wing. We go back to the front as Big Boss Bells continues to head the field. Race is not won on the first lap, of course, so there's a long way to go yet. 51 laps of race on this fast-flowing Baku street circuit. Or Baku City Circuit, as it's officially known as. Right on board with Ginge as the leaders come round to start, or to complete the first lap, I should say. They'll be starting lap 2. Now the leaderboard has glitched with the lap count, so just ignore that for the time being. You can see Jay Hartnell going toe-to-toe with Tricker. He's about to go past him, actually, by the looks of things, in the AlphaTauri. And so Tricker gets through and up into 11th place. As Liverpool fan comes into the pits, presumably with damage. Quick Killer also making his way in. That's such a shame for Quick Killer, who's gone into this race 3rd in the championship. But he's going to leave himself with an awful lot of work to do. He'll be praying for a safety car at some point. Meanwhile, Moody also in the pits. So 3 drivers in the pits at the end of lap 1. So Zika Zubo in the Red Bull as he watches Wild Dog, who looks to try and close in on Ginge. Wild Dog is on the softer compound, so he'll have more grip in his Alfa Romeo than his teammate at this stage. Someone's gone off. I think that's the Red Bull of Will, who's gone for another spin by the looks of things, but he's continued. So Big Boss Bells in first place with Ginge not too far behind. It's Wild Dog and Zika Zubo. Eckhart's has done well to get up to 5th place. Let's see who's gained what from their starting positions. And whilst I say that, Sniper's Grace has hit the wall somewhere, and his race has come to an end at turn 14. So has he had it coming together with someone, I wonder? Not too sure, but either way, his race has only lasted 1.5 laps, and we have the virtual safety car being deployed here in Baku. So whilst we wait for the race to resume, Vamu has made up 6 places. You say Mielios, Tricker and Sufter have each made up 7 places from their starting positions. The top 3 have remained the same as they were on the grid. I just hope we don't get too many more retirements in this race. And I would think the VSC is going to come to an end very shortly now. You can see some of the spectators on their balconies. And Ziga Zubo has been given a drive-through penalty for exceeding the safety car, virtual safety car delta. So he'll have to come in at the end within the next 3 laps. You do lose quite a bit of time in the pit lane, considering that he's on such a fast pit straight. That's the last thing Ziga Zubo will be wanting. If I was him, I would probably take the drive-through penalty at the end of this lap. Gets attacked from behind by the Williams of Eckhart. Now they come through turns 8, 9 and 10. And then through 11 and 12. The DRS has been enabled, which will allow Eckhart to get within DRS range to have a go on Zika Zubo, but he'll be aware that he has got a drive-through penalty to his name, so he may not want to take too many risks, but he needs to watch Mielios, who's behind him. So the driver's coming round, turns 18 and 19. There is a kick. Oh, it's coming together, and the Red Bull has sustained damage. I'm sure the Williams has done as well. Has Eckhart got damage? Yes, he has, to the left-hand side of his front wing. So Zika Zubo, his race going from bad to worse with that front wing damage, so he's going to be coming into the pits shortly. I think he'll take the drive-through penalties. Oh, and someone's in the wall. That's Jay Hartnell. Luckily, the car is ghosted, and we've got a safety car now. Zika Zubo is in the pits, albeit too quickly. So he'll be taking... Oh, that's come at a bad time for him as well, because he's got to take his drive-through at the end of the safety car period. So Eckhart exits the box too quickly. Too quickly coming out of the pit exit there, needed to slow down. Liverpool fan coming back into the pits. As Quick Killer goes through ahead of him. Now Gainful Odds will be looking to make his way back through the field as Liverpool fan comes into the box for his second stop of the race. Go on to a set of mediums. His teammate Jay Hartnell out of the race. And I wonder how many cars we're going to see at the checker flag. I think we only had 6 finishes in this race last season. I wasn't around for that one, but I did see on the stream how many finishes we did end up having, I should say. And Quick Killer's just slowing down there to make sure he didn't exceed the delta. It's so important. And the reason why the delta is there is because to stop drivers from travelling around the circuit ever so fast whilst the wreckage is being cleared. It is cleared now, but Big Boss Bells hasn't caught up to the safety car yet. So there's Therese, who's got a 5-second time penalty to his name. He decides not to come in at the end of this lap. Vamo is, though. And Quick Killer does get a drive-through penalty for exceeding the delta under the safety car. So travelling around too quickly. And Vamo getting his front wing replaced as well. And out he goes. He'll rejoin behind the Red Bull of Zika Zubo, who will be back in the pits for a drive-through penalty later on. He gets out ahead of him, in fact. So your race order then, Big Boss Bells leads with Ginge second. Then it's Wild Dog ahead of Mielios. Therese is 5th ahead of Leppy. Tricker is 7th ahead of Safdar. Page is 9th. And Fragile rounding out your top 10 so far. 2 drivers are out of the race already. They are Jay Hartnell and Sniper Strace, both of which going no further. We are on lap 5 out of 51. So nearly a tenth of the way through this one. I'd imagine the safety car is going to remain out there for one more lap because some of the field is not caught up to the back of the Crocodile yet. Safety car lights are still flashing, which means they'll be remaining out there for at least one more lap. So Big Boss Bells controls the pace behind the safety car at the moment. Well, I say controlling the pace, it's the safety car who's controlling it. So Zika Zubo and Quick Killer will be taking their drive-throughs after the safety car's gone back in. The safety car remains out there. We are now on lap 6. Everyone has caught up to the pack now. So the safety car will be going in at the end of this lap. And this is going to be the interesting part where Big Boss Bells decides to go as of when he does, which could cause a bit of, I wouldn't want to say shenanigans, but some activity, let's say, behind him. So we'll get confirmation when the safety car goes past the second time beam. It will be coming in at the end of this lap. There we go, the lights have gone off on the safety car. So Big Boss Bells will back the field up, and he will go when he's ready to do so. You'll need to watch Ginger and Wild Dog behind him. 18 drivers still running. And Big Boss Bells decides to go now. That's a good restart actually from Big Boss Bells. He hasn't backed the field up too much. And he's away on the restart. So we go green once more in Baku. Big Boss Bells leads into turn 1. Now is there going to be some overtakes further behind? There is towards the back as Vamu dives to the inside of the Williams of Eckert. And he can't make the move stick there. Although Eckert did run wide as well. But Vamu can't quite take advantage and complete the pass. Zubo running a bit wide. He must have got a little bit too much wheel spin on the exit of turn 2. You can see further behind him, you can see Liverpool fan thinking about a move on Gameful Odds. Thought better of it. There's no DRS for the first 2 laps of the restart. And Eckert has got past Fragile now for 11 plays. Oh, there's a tap from behind by the Ferrari of Vamu. Now, one of his picked up damage in that. He may well have done. Oh, and Fragile hits the wall at turn 8 as well. He really is struggling on the restart. Surely he must have damaged the car. There we go. He's let Vamu go past. And he leaves the door opening for Quick Killer to go through as well. So Quick Killer up into 12 plays and there's damage behind. Who's that? I think that's Will, who's lost part of his front wing there. Yeah, his whole front wing's gone. So Will be back into the pits at the end of the lap to get a new front wing fitted on. Yeah, Leo's in 4th position as we watch Tricker go past Leppy as well. So Tricker having a good restart actually in the AlphaTauri. Big Boss Bells with a new fastest lap, but it is early days, so we are expecting. Oh, that is why then. Leppy's got damage to his front wing. And someone has had a moment in sector there. That could just be Leppy slowing down to make sure he got into the pit lane safely. And Fragile into the pits as well. And Will makes his way into the pit lane for repairs. You can see Melio's catching Wild Dog, who will be on old softs now at this point in the race. So I would expect the mediums to have more life left in them than the softs. This is the tricky part of the racetrack where you may be able to try and go for a move, but there just isn't enough space for 2 cars, so you want to try and get the move done before the corner. Because through this section that Wild Dog and Mielios are going through now, it's so notorious to complete a pass at. We just saw Tricker, I think, caught the curves a little bit there, but got away with it. And now Mielios approaching. Oh, well spun! Into the wall goes the Alfa Romeo driver. His car's ghosted to avoid a collision. So that's him out of the top three there, and that'll be him going into the pit lane for a new front wing. Losing it all by himself. And so he goes to the back of the field as a result of it. There's quite a lot of debris there at the moment, so... Oh, and Therese goes into the wall as well. That's damaged his front wing for sure, and that'll be him off into the pits. DRS is now being enabled. As Tricker and Softar move up to 4th and 5th places now. Paige will go up to 6th, although having said that, she's got Eckhart who is alongside her now. More drivers entering the pit lane. Seeker Zubo and Quick Killer serving their drive-through penalties for exceeding the delta under the safety car. Or the virtual safety car. And Therese will be able to take his 5 seconds. Now his pit stop. Someone's had a moment. Oh, Fragile spun and hit the wall. Oh, he's wrecked his front wing completely there. So that'll be him off into the pit lane. I wonder if he may call it quits. He's early in the race, so he may be able to get back into it, but he needs to stop spinning all by himself there, because otherwise he could end up going a lap down. And Seeker Zubo has still got, I think, 5 seconds of time penalty, which he'll have to take at his next pit stop. Fragile Tunnel's in the pits now for Alpine. Now, does he decide to keep going, or does he call it quits? We'll find out in a moment. As we watch Mielios, who's under pressure now from Tricker, who's going to be within DRS range to get the move done. Fragile has, in fact, retired from the race now, so that's the 3rd driver out of the race already. We are on lap 9 out of 51. Tricker didn't get the best of exits coming out of turn 16. He's still within DRS range, so he should get into the slipstream to have a go on Mielios on this long 2.2 kilometre back straight, but Mielios moved a bit too rudely there, I would say. Softar's also got by the Alpine, and now he's going to go side by side with the AlphaTauri as they go into turn 1. They'll get through safely, so no contact made. Although Softar is going to fancy his chances to have a go on Tricker on this back straight before turn 3. And I think the AlphaTauri is using the ERS to defend. So Liverpool fan up to 10th place already. He was at the back at the beginning of the restart. Quick Killer comes into the pits. He's only just been in to serve a drive-through penalty. That's why then. Front wing repairs. So Big Boss Bells continuing to dominate, over 5 seconds in front of Ginge, who's 2nd. And it's Tricker 3rd, Softar 4th, Mielios 5th, and it's Eckhart another 6 seconds or so behind in 6th place in the Williams. 7 different cars in the top 7 so far. It is equal performance, these cars. So Softar behind Tricker in the battle for 3rd position. And now he's going to have DRS, I should think. He may be 8/10s, but he'll still have the benefit. The only problem he's got is that Tricker is using the ERS to defend. And someone has gone off in sector 3. It's one of the Red Bulls. It's Seeker Zubo who's gone into the wall. And we've got another virtual safety car as the Red Bull spins its way back round again. And I would think that'll be him ducking into the pits at the end of this lap. He needs to anyway. He's got no front wing to his car. So this is our third interruption of the race. Second virtual safety car. Siga Zubo is into the pits for Red Bull. In fact, to be able to use the pit stop to take the 5 seconds that he's due to take. And Liverpool fans being penalised now for exceeding the delta. So they'll be him into the pits within the next 3 laps. So we're on lap 11. Nicholas Bells' margin 6 seconds over Ginge. Then it's Tricker who's catching him in 3rd place. Safdar keeping in touch with him. He knows there's a long way to go yet, so it's about playing the long game here in Baku. Someone's gone for a spin in sector 2. It's the other AlphaTauri of Gainful Odds. Yeah, he's spun round at turn 15. And Meppy should be able to get past this it's a mess down there at turn 15. And it's the Liverpool fan who's lost his front wing now as well. So that could be him into the pits as Paige kindly lets Miman Moody go through. I don't think she really needed to do that, to be honest with you, as he was already going past anyway. So Safdar still behind Tricker. Liverpool fan will be in for a new front wing. And he'll be in within the next lap or two to take that drive through. Just looking to see if there's any other changes down the field. Liverpool fan rejoins in 15th place. He's gone back out on a set of soft compound tyres. So the only drivers who have not pitted in this race so far are the top 5 and Page, who's in 9th. So that's 6 drivers who have not pitted once yet in this. So the gap between Big Balls Bells and Ginger's increased now to just over 7 seconds. As you can see, Tricker closing in all the time now. He's got DRS behind the Alfa Romeo. Is he going to have a go into turn 3? Not quite completing the manoeuvre. Ginge rides the curbs. Tricker closing in behind still. May decide to wait until the long pit straight to complete the move. The only trouble he's going to have is Safdar behind him, who's going to also have DRS. Now Tricker may decide to force Ginge into a mistake, which he doesn't quite do. Liverpool fan into the pits to take that drive through. He'll fall behind Quick Killer, but should stay ahead. Oh, you can see Ginge running wide on the exit of turn 12. That is going to allow Tricker to close in on the Alfa Romeo. He won't go for it into turn 15. There's just not enough room to complete an overtake there. And now they're heading down towards turn 16. And we should see the DRS open on the AlphaTauri. Here we go, look. The rear wing is open now. And Tricker is through and up to 2nd place as they go on to lap 14. We're over a quarter of the way through this race now. Now is Ginge going to try and fight back. He has got the DRS, but is he going to be close enough to have a go on Tricker? Not this time around, so he stays behind him. Tricker needs to try and pull out that 1 second margin. to maintain the position as Will goes off in the Red Bull. He's had a lackluster race already. He's not got any better for him. That'll be him off into the pits for a new nose. And he may decide to retire once he does enter the pits. So Will into the pits. And Terades now gets past Gainful Odds for 11th position. And that's why. So Gainful Odds has gone for a spin. Now as he picks up damage, I wonder, to that Alpha Tauri. He must have done with the way he spun. Can't see it on there, but could well have it. Still. So Tricker's bruised out that 1 second margin, so he's able to extend it. And Will... Oh! Safdar's into the wall! And he's broken his front wing now. And that will allow Mielios to go back up into 4th place. The car is ghosted to avoid being collected by the cars behind. So Safdar done everything right in this race so far. Has made a spin of his own. And so he ducks into the pits for a new front wing. So there's Tricker in 2nd place. He's beginning to eat into Big Balls Bowser's margin now since he passed Ginge. So Safdar and someone else is at the moment. It's Will who's gone for another spin. He's already had a spin on this lap at turn 2. And he's ripped off his front wing again. So Vamu in 6th place after starting 15th. And looking at Tricker, he started 17th on the grid and he's got up to 2nd. A brilliant performance from him. Eckhart is struggling to keep up actually, and Will's out of the race. He stops in the pits and he decides that enough is enough. So Vamu not able to find a way through. So Safdar is rejoining 10th place ahead of Terades. He's gone for the mediums again, so Safdar will be back in the pits again before the race is over. He'll probably try and go onto a soft compound, but that depends on whether we do get a safety car again or not. Super Zubo nearly losing it on the exit of turn 7. Speak as well as extremely close enough to lap the Red Bull. The gap now 9.5 seconds between himself and the AlphaTauri of Tricker. Mielios, who appears to be struggling a little bit now. I mean, Eckhart is on medium tyres that are 4 laps fresher than the Alpine, which will explain his pace. Oh, and Vamu's gone for a spin. Now, one of his used the reset to charge. Now, I think considering that's the castle section, the stewards may decide to come down that as Eckhart now gets past Mielios. I think Mielios has got an issue here. I wonder if he's hit the wall somewhere, because you see him struggling to get through the corners. Yeah, he's got damage to his front wing. That explains his drop in pace. So that'll be him going into the pits, and I think Vamu will be heading in there as well. He's had a moment with the barriers or something. So Big Boss Bell's still in the lead. Tricker second, and we've got a virtual safety car. Now I wonder if that will be for the debris left over by those at the castle section. Now Mielio's comes in. Now Page has just got to be careful not to exceed the VSC Delta. She's so desperate to get in front of the Alpine, and she does that. She needs to remain within the Delta, though, when it ends. Otherwise, she can end up getting a drive-through penalty. And Safdar also in the pits. Going onto a soft compound. And the race is back underway again. No drivers receiving drive-throughs after that. So Safdar will be able to use his pace of the tyres to make up some ground. Seeker getting out of the way of the race leader. It goes past. And someone's had a moment in sector 3. I think that's Seeker who's just getting out of the way, actually. We'll go back to the battle for 7th places. Page is holding up Mielio's, who's on much fresher tyres now than the McLaren. Page is known for taking those tyres longer than the expected number of laps. Seeker Subo back in the pits for Red Bull. Is this going to be a retirement for him, I wonder? We'll find out in a moment. He's gone into a set of mediums. So Mielio's revived back on board with him. Side by side as they go through the long back straight. And the Alpine gets past and goes up into 7th. So Trickett. Keeping up with the leader at the moment. Safdar's got past Gainful Oddsco up into 12th place. So Safdar on much better tyres than those around him, particularly Wild Dog, who's the next man on his list. You can see the Alfa Romeo just harvesting energy there, hence why the rear red light is flashing. So Wild Dog not able to. There's no way he'll hold him back on this. Safdar's so desperate to just get in front of him here. I think he's going to do that by going round the outside. Now, does he get through? The answer is yes. That's a very nice manoeuvre there from Safdar. So that's him up into 11th spot. He's got 10 seconds to make up into race before he does get up to the gearbox of the Williams. Seems to be spaced out now, the drivers, although there is a battle for 15th place, I should think, between Quick Killer and Liverpool Fan. Liverpool Fan on 5-lap-old softs, whereas Quick Killer is on 7-lap-old hards. Safdar posting a new fastest lap, which is no surprise. Seeker Zubo, the only driver lapped so far. Big Boss Wells doesn't need to worry about lapping cars, he just needs to focus on his own driving, which he is doing so. So here's Quick Killer. Another fan. Fighting over 14th position. Now, just looking at the championship as it stands at the moment, if it was to remain as it is, Big Boss Bells would get... Well, he got pole position, which is 1 point, 40 points for the race victory. That would be 41 for him. That would put him on to 138 points. Vamu, who's in 5th place, he'd be on course to get 18 points. That would put him on 77. Quick Killer, only in 14th, only get a couple of points. And Dixon's not racing tonight, so he wouldn't get anything. So Big Boss Bells would most certainly be extending his lead at the top of the table after 4 races. So only 4 drivers at the moment have pitted so far. Quick Killer is not one of them. He's for pits for a change of front wing. And he's going to be lapped by the race leader as well. At least he'll be on fresher tyres than the race leader though. But Big Boss Bells is just too dominant. And looks like that Ginger's coming in for his first stop of the race, and someone's had a spin. It's Vamu! So Vamu's had a spin on the exit of turn 19, and he's lost his front wing. Moldog now gets a time penalty for exceeding track limits. His race going from bad to worse, and I think Paige has just been overtaken actually by Saraid. So Paige, has she got damage to her car? Yes, she has. So that'll be her into the pits for a new nose. So Ginge rejoins in 5th place ahead of Mielios. That's important for him because Mielios pitted a few laps ago, but has not quite completed the undercut on him. But he's going to have more speed coming out there, and Ginge doesn't bother fighting it. So he allows Mielios to go through. He might decide to wait until the long pit straight to complete a manoeuvre back on him. Now a ride on board with Safdar, who's behind Saraid. Now he'll have the luxury of the DRS into the slipstream, pulls alongside the Williams, and that's 8th place for the Aston Martin. So that's another overtake. Page into the pits. And she'll rejoin in 14th. Oh, Quick Killer! Rips off another front wing of his, and that'll be him off into the pits. Tricker did well to avoid that, because that really could have put him off. And I think Quick Killer's going to be into the pits for retirement now. And Paige? Oh, is that... No, it's Big Boss Bells! So Big Boss Bells has spun it! And we've got a virtual safety car. So Big Boss Bells, who's dominated the race, has had a spin, or he's had a moment somewhere, and he's ripped off his front wing. Now, luckily for him, the virtual safety car has been deployed. That's the last thing he wants as Eckhart comes into the pits for a change of tyres, as Quick Killer retires from the race now. So he goes no further. Sikazubo also in, breaks the pit lane speed limit, not for the first time tonight. And Eckhart crosses the pit lane exit line. He gets a 5-second penalty for it. Just going too quick on the pit exit. We're back on the way now anyway. But Tricker's going to most certainly take the lead, because Big Boss Bells is struggling to get round without a front wing to his car. So we're going to have a change of lead here for the first time in this Grand Prix. And it's an instant sector 1, and that could just be Sika Zubo's getting out of the way as he's been lapped by a lot of the field. As we watch Tricker close in on Big Boss Bells, he'll be ducking into the pits at the end of this lap. So he needs to be careful, just take it easy. Oh, he nearly sent Tricker into the wall there. So Big Boss Bells pits in from the race, and I think Tricker's following him as well, so the top two coming in. There's no question that Tricker will get out in front of Big Boss Bells because he will not need to change his front wing. Unlike Big Boss Bells, of course. It's going to make for an interesting second half of the race, though, that's for certain. Now, medium tyres going on Tricker's car, so he's going to try the two-stop strategy in this. What is Big Boss Bells doing? He's doing the same. Both of them will rejoin in first and second place without an issue. So Eckhart behind the Mercedes of Mean Man Moody in the fight for third. Eckhart does have that penalty hanging over him. He's not expected to pit again before this race is over, but he's got that 5-second time penalty which will be applied to his time at the end of the race, unless he does pit it again, of course. Vamu passes to Reyes to go up into 9th position. And Eckhart does get past Mean Man Moody to go up into 3rd place. So Mean Man Moody, the only driver who has not yet stopped in this race now. He's not doing a bad job, actually. Considering where he started way back in 14th. He's got himself up to 4th place, nearly clouted the wall there at the castle section. And Melios is going to be right on the gearbox of the Mercedes before he chooses to pull alongside. He may be reluctant to wait until the pit straight to complete the move, because that's where the DRS zone is. Now, Mean Man Moody won't have DRS, which is good news for Melios. 1.3 seconds is the gap between Eckhart and Mean Man Moody. Rear wing open on the Alpine. And Mean Man Moody's ducking into the pits. Gets the car slowed down, albeit a bit premature. And Ginge in 5th place ahead of Leppy. Mean Man Moody comes out on a set of soft tyres. So he's likely to go onto a medium soft strategy. Mean Man Moody will rejoin in 8th ahead of Vamu, who's just going through turn 1 now. And going for odds entering the pits. Let's get rid of those hard compound tyres. Not sure if he's really enjoyed them, to be honest with you. Someone's gone off in sector 2. I think that's Mean Man Moody who's... Mean Man Moody's had a moment. There was a yellow flag around that section. It may just be the Red Bull getting out of the way of him. And now Mielio's right on the gearbox here of Eckhart. He's on fresh hards, but Mielio's is on the mediums. Rearing open, using a little bit of his ERS before he decides to complete the move. To the inside he goes into turn 1. And that's 3rd place for the Alpine driver. Ginge being overtaken by Leppy now. Oh, and Mielos has hit the wall in the castle section. Sure, he's picked up damage to his front wing. Well, a piece of it's not come off, it'll most definitely affect the aerodynamics. And that's going to allow Eckhart to close back in on him again. He thinks sensibly here as they go into turn 15. And the Alpine remains in front, but for how long? Struggled to get the car turned in slightly, so surely he has got damage to his car there. Now, Melios has been on the mediums for only 7 laps. Rear wing open on Eckhart's car. As, yeah, Melios is into the pits. It's got front wing damage. They'll be falling down the order. Oh, Vamo hits in the wall though on the exit of turn 19. Ginge also in. Apologies for that, my controller decided to disconnect. So Vamo out on his way. I was just going to say, I think Ginge came into the pits for a change of tyres and a new front wing, so he's pretty much out of sync in the battle for the race victory now. So it's going to be between Tricker and Big Boss Bells, unless we do, of course, get a safety car. Someone's gone off in sector 1. Is that Vamo who's gone off there? I think it is. So Vamo holding off Liverpool fan behind. I'm just going to say Gameflods has moved in front of Page now for 13th position. Gap between Tricker and Big Boss Bells is 8.1 seconds. Both of them will be making 2 stops because they've only been on the medium compound, so they have to go on to the hard compound or the soft compound before this race is over. Unless it does rain, of course, which we are not expecting. So we're into the second half of this race now. We're on lap 27. 25 laps to go. Serrades comes into the pits for Williams. Don't think he's got damage to his car. Oh, he might have done actually. Let's have a look. Yeah, he's in need of a new front wing. He's going back out into a set of mediums. He'll rejoin ahead of Gameful Odds, no problem. Trigger taking it easy through the fast sections. So Safdart, who is 5th, approaching Lepi in the Mercedes. Safdar on 9-lap-old softs. Lepi on 18-lap-old mediums. So Safdar with DRS, is he going to, at the very minimum, just close in a little bit? He won't have a go into turn 1. It'd be very audacious if he did. And Game Forwards now gets a time penalty for exceeding track limits. Safdart closing in once more on the Mercedes, but remains behind for the time being at least. Big Boss Bells has got the gap down slightly now to Tricker. 7.7 seconds it is. Took about 2 or 3 tenths out of his margin. Tricker is coming up to a couple of back markers now. One of them is his teammate, and the other is Page, who's right behind him now. I wonder if Gameful Odds has had a moment, because he looks like he may have damage to his car. Hence why he picked up that penalty in the first place. He's not ducking into the pits, but Page is going to have DRS to pull alongside him. Now, is she going to go through here? The answer to that is yes. So Page is through and up into 12th place on the road. She's got 24 seconds to make up now on to race as Gameful Odds gets lapped by his teammate. His car is ghosted for the time being. The Gameful Odds is trying to fight back on the McLaren. Contact made. The leader gets through without any issues. But Page stays in front, and someone else has had a moment somewhere. Is that Leppy who's gone for a spin? Don't think it is. It's the Liverpool fan who had gone for a spin. He's just fallen behind the race leader, but he's still in front of Page. Someone's gone off in sector 3. Can't quite tell what's happened. Oh, it's Kazubo. He's lost it on the exit of turn 16. Now, is that going to bring out the safety car, I wonder, within parts there? I think he may have chosen to retire on track, which you're not supposed to do. You're not supposed to go through the pause menu and retire on circuit. You can only do that when you go through the pit lane if you want to retire. And I hope he's not blocking. There's no safety car involved, so we're back on the way again. Gameful Odds is back through on Page for 13th place. Now he's got Liverpool fan ahead of him, two of which he should pull alongside. Here we go, look. Gameful Odds approaching the Haas, and this should be an overtake. Which it is. Or so he thought, because Liverpool fan is still there, and the Haas remains in front. And there's Eckhart, who's in 3rd place on the hard tyres. Now he can go to the end, but he does have that 5-second penalty hanging over him. Now Safdar, who's in 4th place, is on 12 lap old softs. So I'm sure they'll be wearing away by this point. He's doing a fine job so far in 4th place. He'll drop a few positions though when he does come in for his 2nd stop, or his 3rd stop. I think he's only pitted twice in this race actually. Yeah, he's pitted twice as Safdar. Melio's in 7th behind Miman Moody. Melio's trying to make up for lost time after that mistake earlier on. Miman Moody running wide on the exit of turn 6. Now does Melio's get alongside? No, he doesn't. Oh, Miman Moody clouds to the wall there. He surely picks up damage though in the Mercedes. He runs wide. Melio's doesn't quite capitalise. Miman Moody, I think, has picked up damage after hitting the wall earlier on, so Melio's will easily go through ahead of him. I think Miman Moody will be ducking into the pits for a new nose. There's Vamu, who's on much fresher tyres than Wild Dog, who's ahead of him on track. Rear wing open. That's the straight line speed advantage right there. Vamo goes up into what is 9th place. You can see the Mercedes coming out of the pits now. Can Mima Moody get in front? The answer is no. So he is now behind Vamo. We expect Wild Dog to be in the pits one more time before this race is over. "20 laps to go here in Baku." And someone's gone off it. Oh, it's Wild Dog. So Wild Dog has had a moment down at the castle section, and a virtual safety car has been deployed. So they'll slow the field right up. Eckart's just gone past the pit lane. Safdar takes the opportunity to pit him for his third stop. Mediums go on. And a rejoin ahead of Ginge in 6th place. Now Safdar just needs to be careful not to exceed the delta. I think he's on he's on used mediums. They've only done 2 laps, but given the amount of load of which he'll need to put into the tyre between now and the end of the race, he should be okay. Liverpool fan has been penalised for exceeding the VSC delta. So that'll be him docking into the pits. And that could well be his race over, to be quite honest with you. He has had a race to forget. He's already been penalised for that once. Wild Dog into the pits for Alfa Romeo. Medium tyres go on. Yeah, he's done that on purpose, to be honest with you. That's a sign that he's going to be leaving the race, which he is do so. So Liverpool fan becomes the 7th retirement in this Azerbaijan Grand Prix. There's Mielios, who's in 5th place. There's Lepi in 4th, who's been on the mediums for 25 laps now, I believe. There's Liverpool fan who just stays out of the way of the other drivers there. He parks up in the run-off area of turn 3. So Wild Dog on fresh mediums now. Closing up behind Gainful Odds. Wild Dog not close enough to have a go. So Trickett, 10 seconds in front now of Big Boss Bells. He is continuing to extend the gap. So Wild Dog goes to the inside there of the Alpha tyre. That's very ambitious. And they leave each other enough room to get through turn 3 together without making contact. And Mielios has just been passed actually by Safdar. Safdar moving up into 5th place, who also posts a new fastest lap. And the next one up from him is Lepi, who's 4.5 seconds ahead. But Safdar's on much fresher tyres. I would expect to be seeing him in front of the Mercedes within the next couple of laps. Let's see how much time he can gain through the slower corners, because this is where the grip really matters the most. You can see the gap decreasing so drastically. You can even see the Mercedes in front of you now is just going through turn 7. Safdar absolutely flying on those mediums now. That's the difference of having fresher tyres. Now, if he's quick enough, he may... Oh! Lepi spun! Lepi has spun on the exit of turn 13. That's his front wing gone, and that'll be him off into the pit lane. Now the front wing has gone complete, and it's on the racing line as well. That could be enough to deploy the virtual safety car, to be honest with you, with all that debris there. So Gainful Odds and Page into the pits together. So Lepi, who's been on those mediums for 25, 26 laps now, so I would expect him to either go onto another set of mediums or softs for the remainder of the race. Well Dog continues to get penalised now as well. That's another 3 seconds to his time penalty, taking his total to 6. So Vamo goes past Lepi. Miman Moody will go past Lepi, as will Terades. So Lepi from 4th place before that spin is now down to 10th on the soft compound tyres. So Terades gets through. He did kiss the wall a little bit, but got away with it. He goes up into 8th place ahead of Miman Moody. You can see there Safdar pushing ever so hard to close down the gap between himself and Eckert. Now Eckert has got a 5-second time penalty, which will be applied to his race time at the end of this. So Safdar needs to get within 5 seconds of the Williams in order to go to the podium. Safdar, who started the race 18th, has managed to get himself off into 4th position. It's a brilliant effort from him. And so Vamo enters the pits. I wonder if he's had damage, to be honest with you. He must have had a moment somewhere as the Ferrari. Yep, a new front wing's ready. And that'll be him dropping down to 10th. He'll probably end up going a lap down as well. And someone's gone, it's Gainful Odds. So Gainful Odds has retired. And then we've got our second safety car of the race. So Trickett. So Big Boss Bells takes the opportunity to come into the pits to get a set of soft tyres on. So with 15 laps to go, Gainful Odds has crashed his AlphaTauri out at turn 8, otherwise known as the castle section, which is why we've got our second safety car of this. Now Trickett if I was him, I'd be thinking about pitting at the end of his lap. He's got to be pitting at some point before this race is over because he's only been on the medium compound. So the guy is waiting to pick up the leader. Eckhart being frustrated behind Wild Dog, but they are needing to adhere to the delta anyway. And most of the drivers are going to be going onto soft compound tyres now. I think by the time Stricker does come into the pits at the end of this lap, Vamu will be able to unlap himself. And Therese and Mima Moody into the pits together. So the leader does come in. He should have a big enough margin to keep hold of that. Big Boss Wells is only going through turn 16 now, so Tricker will retain his lead. But that 10-second lead he had has gone well out of the window now. So the only drivers who are a lap down in this race are Page and Wild Dog. Now Wild Dog, Eckhart comes into the pits for a change of tyres. He's got that 5-second penalty that he can serve whilst in the pits, but that's going to allow Safdar to go up into third place. So the Williams crew await the 5 seconds before they go to work. Safdar is only just there. I think Safdar is going to get through here. So Safdar through into third place as Eckhart rejoins. At least he'll be on a lap fresher soft compound. And Mielios has had a moment on the exit of turn 6. I don't know if he's hit the wall somewhere. Seems to be the car seems to be turning in okay. There's Leppy, who is in 7th, ahead of Therese, Mima Moody and Vamu. Page and Wild Dog are a lap down in the queue. And safety car's lights are still on. It will be going around for at least one more lap. We're on to the 39th lap now. 13 laps remaining of this Azerbaijan Grand Prix as we wait for the other drivers to catch up. And the drivers who have penalties between now and the checkered flag are Therese, Vamu and Wild Dog. Now Vamu, who's in 10th place at the moment, he's well ahead of Page because Page is a lap down on the leaders. Vamu won't be. So Vamu hasn't got anything to lose at this point now. Therese is also on 3 seconds. And Wild Dog's on 6 seconds worth. So could well be settling for 12th place at the finish unless anything happens up front. So Trickett. Oh, he's hit the wall. So Trickett has touched the wall. I don't know if he's picked up damage there. That almost allowed Big Boss Bells into the lead. I think he got away with it, but that's so nearly could have ended disastrously for the AlphaTauri driver. So Safdar in third place now. He has got a chance of going for the victory here, providing he does get through the back markers as quickly as possible. The safety car should be going in at the end of this lap now, which it is. So we're going to have 12 laps between now and the checker flag. Trickett will dictate the pace, and he will go when he is ready to do so. Big Boss Bells is behind him in second place. He's got another shot at going for the victory here, despite that error he made that cost him his front wing and time and the race lead. Now he needs to watch Trickett's move here and be very clever in terms of how Trickett decides to floor it. There's no overtaking until the start line. As we watch Big Boss Bells stay with Trickett as Eckart's been penalised for a collision with someone. We're back on the way again in Baku. As we watch Eckart, who goes up into fourth position ahead of Ginge, who runs wide. But Ginge is still there, tries to get back through on the Williams. There's contact made, and someone else is in the wall. It's Leppy. Leppy's been shoved out of the way and points in the wrong way. So Leppy goes to the back of the field as we watch the rest of the field get through turn 3. Now, is there anything else happening? Mahmoudi, I think, has got damage to his car. He's not going through turn 3 very, very fast. Definitely not as fast as the rest of the field. But it's still Trickett, Big Boss Bells and Safdar. So Safdar right in there now, as he looks to have a go on these guys and take a surprising and unexpected victory. Oh, and the Mercedes has hit the wall again. Miman Moody. It's a disaster for the Mercedes team. He may want to reset the car for this particular instance. He's got to go in again anyway. That'll probably be him into the pits for a new nose, I would reckon. So Big Boss Bells right behind Trickett as they go through turn 17 and then the fast sweeping corners of 18 and 19. And then we'll look to see whether he will decide to have a go. There's no DRS for the first 2 laps of the restart, remember. So Big Boss Bells may want to wait until it is enabled before he makes his move. But needs to watch Safdar behind as well. Eckart's in 4th position as Mielios has also got in front of Ginge on the restart. Then it's Terades. Oh, and Ginge goes off the track. I wonder if he got put off by his teammate who's allowed down ahead of him, because he's also gone off onto the escape road. We'll go to the battle for the lead again, though, because Big Boss Bells is right behind Trickett as they go through turns 3 and 4. Miman Moody into the pits for another change of tyres and a new front wing. And the Liverpool fan coming in saying the game kept me giving random DTS. It's so broken. Codemasters do have their own problems with the game sometimes. I can understand that from a driver's point of view. I really, really do. And watch Big Boss Bells as he continues to distract the AlphaTauri of Trickett. He won't have DRS on this occasion. And now as they come towards turns 18 and 19 once more. Here we go then. Is this going to be the move that puts Big Boss Bells back into the lead of the race? He does go side by side, but I'm not sure if he's going to have the edge coming into turn 1. DRS is enabled now. Big Boss Bell's right round the outside, and he's through into the lead of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix ahead of Tricker. But the bad news for him is that Tricker is going to have DRS as he's within a second of him. So we'll wait and see whether Tricker does get his own back on the McLaren. Now Ginge is in the pits, he's left the session but he's not retired the car. And Tricker is about to lose second place to Safdar. So Safdar is now through on the AlphaTauri. So Safdar through and up into second place. Can he go for the race win, I wonder? So this is far from over by any means here. So Safdar, as Big Boss has now got a time penalty for exceeding track limits too many times. So that throws another spanner into the mix. So Big Boss has got to open up a 3-second margin on everyone else in order to take the race win now. And sector 2, who has had a moment there? Wild Dog has had another moment in the Alfa Romeo. He's had a shock of a race tonight. He just wants the race to end now. And Big Boss Bells with a new fastest lap on 1 minute 39.9. That was probably helped by his manoeuvre, but that was without DRS. So Safdar is a second behind him still, within a second of him, and that way he'll use the DRS to his advantage. So as it stands with the time penalties applied, Big Boss Bells will be third at the finish. So Safdar nearly losing it with that kick of oversteer on the exit of turn 7. So Safdar posting a new fastest lap. That's probably helped by the DRS of which he used. Eight laps to go in this race now. It's still anyone's game for the race victory here. If we do get another safety car, that's going to bring the field right back together again. And Wild Dog into the pit. Oh, he's out. Wild Dog has crashed out on circuit. Is that going to be enough to bring out a safety car? Yes, it is. Now, this is bad news for Big Boss Bells because he cannot take that penalty, that particular penalty, in the pits. It'll be added to his time at the end of it. At the end of the race, sorry. Let's see, Page is just coming for another change of tyres, actually, so I wonder if anyone will decide to do the same. Page hasn't got anyone to battle with now, with Wild Dog out of the race. So this is the third safety car of this. Now, Paige has got to adhere to the delta. She don't want to be going too fast. Now, will any of the leaders decide to take a gamble and make a pit stop here? That is the interesting question. Big Boss Bells doesn't come in. Eckhart does, though. He'll be able to take those 5 seconds in the pits as well. But he'll be on much fresher tyres than most of the field. Vamu also deciding to take a gamble. So the Williams and the Ferrari rejoining 7th and 8th. The leaders have caught up to the safety car now, so we'll just be waiting for the field to catch up and then we'll be back underway. Don't think the safety car will be coming in at the end of this lap. Probably the next one, but we'll see. So Big Boss Bells in the lead still, but with a 3-second time penalty hanging over him, it is likely to drop him down the order. I wonder if any of the leaders will decide to come in for a change of tyres. I think Big Boss Bells, Soft and Tricker will decide not to because they will want to keep track position, but we'll see. The safety car lights are still on, so we'll see if any of the leaders do decide to pit in at the end of this lap. In another interesting race. And of course, for more finishes than I thought we would be getting, to be quite honest with you, in this one. There's still 6 more laps to go. So Big Boss Bells still in the lead. We're going to have 5 laps of action once the safety car does go back in. So as it stands with the time penalty supplied, Softar would win the race, Tricker would finish 2nd, Melio's 3rd, Leppy 4th, and then it would be Big Boss Bells to Raids. No, it would be Big Boss Bells, Eckharts and Raids, but we'll find out as the race does get back on the way. We are expecting the gaps to increase before the checker flag does fall. And so the safety car does come in. I think that's going to be the last safety car of this race now. So Big Boss Bells will slow down, back the field up, and go when he's ready to do so. Here we go then, and Big Boss Bells has left them for dead. He's gone already. Very nice restart there from Big Boss Bells. He is on a mission to win this race. The first task for him is to bridge out that 1 second margin before the DRS zone. Well, before the DRS is enabled. And now we can see Tricker losing the position to Mielios as they go side by side through turn 1. Who's going to have the high ground into turn 2? Tricker is still there. He gets back through again. And now Mielios is under threat from the Williams of Terrades. Then it's Leppy and Eckhots and Vamu and Mima Moody. So Big Boss Bells still in the lead. With 5 laps to go here. Softar not leaving him alone just yet. There's no DRS for the first 2 laps of the restart, remember, so it's just pretty much old-fashioned racing for now. So Big Boss Bells kissing the wall there. That's how hard he is pushing. He's breached out that 1 second gap now. And he's 2.8 seconds clear of Tricker as Mielios gets a time penalty for track limits. That's good news for Big Boss Bells. That's one less driver to worry about. And Leppy's fallen down the order in the Mercedes. And he's broken his front wing. It looks as though that Eckhots has got past his teammate as well. I think he's had a coming together with Leppy actually. So both of them into the pits for repairs. Both can try and go for the fastest lap as well as they want, if they want to. So Softar in second place then, 1.3 seconds adrift. Now Terrades exits the pits on fresh soft compound tyres in 9th place, and Leppy will rejoin in 10th. Gap is now 1.9 seconds between Big Boss Bells and Softar. Now Eckhots has passed Mielios to go up into 4th place. Next one up from him is Tricker, who's not had a good restart so far, to be quite honest with you. Big Boss Bells with a new fastest lap, 1 minute 39.7. The DRS has now been enabled. 3 laps to go then. Big Boss Bells still leading. And someone's gone off at turn 1. Who's that that's gone off there? It's one of the Ferraris. It's Vamu. The sole surviving Ferrari's gone off there. And he's dropped down to 7th place as a result of it. The gap now increased to 2.2 seconds between Big Boss Bells and Softar. Big Boss Bells pushing ever so hard. And Tricker now getting a time penalty for track limits. Eckhots all over the back of him now, look. So can Eckhots get into a position to fight for 2nd place here, maybe? This is the closest battle on track at the moment. Big Boss Bells' gap is now 2.8 seconds. 2.9 now. And now 3. If he can keep it like keep it like that, it'll be a third victory of the season for the McLaren driver. As we watch Eckhart close in on Tricker, he's going to have DRS. Tricker won't. And this should be a straightforward manoeuvre here. Tricker is using the ERS as well to defend, but Eckhart will have the straight line speed advantage. Into turn 1 they go. Tricker stays in front for now. Eckhart behind, they bang wheels there, look. All contact made. Eckhart should get through here though with DRS. And he is through. So Eckhart moves up into third place ahead of the AlphaTauri. Didn't think you'd be saying that some time ago. Terades posts a new fastest lap. 1 minute 38.9 for him. What about Leppy as he crosses over the line? Well, I couldn't quite see his lap time actually, but he'll most certainly be pushing hard. The gap is now 3.5 seconds between Safdar and Big Boss Bells. So Big Boss Bells doing all he needs to do. The clouds seem to be darkening at the moment, but that won't do the track. That won't affect the track too much, I wouldn't have thought. Leppy getting ahead of Ginge now. Ginger's car is in fact being controlled by the AI. Hence why Leppy's got in front of him. So Big Boss Bells is about to start the last lap of this race now. As we watch Mielios close in on Tricker as they toss over 4th place. They're far enough ahead of Moody now, those two, so this is a firm battle for 4th place in the race. Now Mielios has run out of ERS actually, hence why he's not closed in. So as it stands, Big Boss Bells would still take the victory. Safdar would finish 2nd, Eckhart 3rd, Tricker 4th, Mielios 5th, Miman Moody 6th, Vamu 7th and Terades 8th. In fact, the whole field would remain unchanged with the penalties as it stands. So Big Boss Bells coming towards turn 7. He won't want to be cutting the corner like that, otherwise that'll be another penalty coming his way. So Big Boss Bells on the verge of taking victory now. In fact, Eckhart's closed in on Safdar in the fight for 2nd, and this is why, because he's on much fresher soft tyres. So coming through turn 15 for the last time there, look. I think Eckhart is going to have Safdar before the line here. But here's Big Boss Bells. Recovered after that mistake. The safety car saved him. He's able to pull out that 3-second margin after a track limit penalty. But he's going to come through to take his 3rd victory of the season here in the 100% Racing Series in the Formula Racing League. Big Boss Bells wins the Azerbaijan Grand Prix in Baku. Now who's going to finish 2nd? On the line! Oh, it's Safdar who just pips Eckhart to the line by 0.016 of a second. Tricker comes home 4th, Mielios 5th, Miman Moody 6th, Vamu 7th, Terades will cross the line 8th, Leppy 9th, Ginge will be 10th, and Page a lap down in 11th place. So Big Boss Bells wins once again in the Formula Racing League to extend his lead at the top of the Drivers' Championship. So your final race result here in Baku, Big Boss Bells wins ahead of Safdar, then it's Eckhart third, then it's Tricker in fourth, Mielio's fifth, Moody sixth, Vamu seventh, then it's Charades, Leppy and Ginge running out the top 10. Page, the last of the finishers in 11th and a lap down. Charades also got the point for the fastest lap. Your retirements, Wild Dog, Gameful Odds, Liverpool Fan, Seeker Zubo, Quick Killer, Will, Fragile, Jay and Sniper Scrace. So brilliant drives from Safdar from 18th to 2nd, Trickett from 17th to 4th, and of course Vamu from 15th to 7th, and Moody from 14th to 6th. In fact, the only drivers within the top 7, starting in the top 7 to finish in there, are Big Boss Bells and Eckhart. Well, that's all for today. Thank you folks for joining us. The next round of the championship will be at Silverstone in a week's time. Now, qualifying will be on Friday at 7 p.m. British Summer Time, and the race will be on Saturday 8:30 p.m. or 9 o'clock. 9 p.m. that is British Summer Time. I'm Tom Cairns, and I'll speak to you again soon when the Formula Racing League returns.